Olá, minhas pequenas abóboras, eu sou o Ative, sejam bem-vindos a mais um vídeo de Genshin Impact no nosso querido arco de Fontaine. Se você não viu nenhum dos episódios anteriores, já clica no cardzinho que tá aparecendo aqui no canto direito da tela e vai lá assistir. Aproveita, já se inscreve e ativa o sininho e deixa um like e um comentário, porque assim o YouTube entende que vocês estão gostando e isso ajuda bastante. Sério, vai lá, não custa nada. No episódio anterior, nós entramos mais um pouco na história da Návia e continuamos a entender seu passado, o que aconteceu com seu pai, e agora estamos investigando quem é o possível traidor em toda essa relação de negócios. Esse muito provavelmente vai estar sendo o episódio final desse arco, então pega um lanchinho e se prepara. E sem mais delongas, bora pro vídeo. Tá bom, cá estamos nós. Vamos selecionar a missão e é pra aquele lado. Eu atravessei a ponte à toa. Dá pra ponte é pra cá. Quase que eu jogo o Linette lá embaixo.
It is settled then. Please excuse me and enjoy your conversation at your leisure.
Thank you for arranging everything for us, Malus. Excuse me, miss. Do you need anything from us?
Sim, tudo. Pode passar as carteiras. E olha lá, criança abusada.
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her at all.
Não vamos incomodá-la agora.
I'm sorry that I only came to visit after all this time. After what happened, I didn't know how I was supposed to face the two of you.
Ih, babado.
If it's about that, there's no need to apologize. After my husband died, Spina di Rosula sent us a lot of mora and support. I understood your guilt and apology to be genuine.
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques? I can understand the kind of pain that comes with losing a father so needlessly.
You don't understand at all.
I didn't know how to face you, because I didn't know what I could possibly bring as a consolation. I know only the full truth could bring closure to you. And to all.
I'm sorry. I appreciate the sentiment, but you don't have to carry all that guilt.
Então eu acho que o pai dessa garota e o marido dessa mulher, na realidade, é o cara no qual o pai dela, da Návia, foi acusado de ter matado. Ok.
On the matter regarding my husband, my daughter and I have...
Would you mind sharing it with me? I really can't.
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times that if he could turn back the clock, he would never go into the synth business again. He had many regrets, and felt that he took the idea of providing for his family too literally. For the longest time, he thought Mora was everything. So when Mr. Callis came to him with a proposal, he accepted it all. He tried to be as careful as he could, but even so, he was still...
They found out about his...
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I should never be uncle.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later that I realized it was his final farewell to the two of us.
Alguém ordenou que Jax eliminasse Callas?
I don't know that for sure, but you could say that's the conclusion, which is why I'm the one who should feel guilty. Callis had always taken great care of us. Even if he fired the shot that killed my husband, it was likely in self-defense.
But Mama, why is Papa still the bad guy if he did the right thing? Papa always wanted to be a good man. So why did he have to do a bad thing?
Well, things aren't always as they seem. You still feel like your
Yeah, Papa was a really good man.
Then you should hold on to that. If a good man had to do a bad thing, then he must have had his reason, regardless of whether he left you a parasol or a sword. He must have done so to give you a better life.
Oh.
Thank you for everything you've told me. I will definitely find the truth.
Thank you. Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is...
You really think so? That's the first time anyone said that to me.
Testemunha da família Jacques.
Laurent should be nearby, and we should be able to find Thierry and Uncle Marcel in the city.
Greetings, boss. How may I be of assistance?
I'm sure you've heard about what happened at the Opera House. It also reminded me, on the day that the incident happened with my father, it was raining outside, and we found some clothes left at the scene. After my partner here put the dots together for me, I feel like... Can you do me a favor and try to recall what happened that night?
Let me think. Mr. Callis was feeling pretty upbeat that day. After that, he told us that he wanted to go get some fresh air. So we let him go without thinking much of it. My first reaction was that Mr. Callis's life was in danger. So I grabbed my holster and made him... But when I got there, it was already too late. Mr. Callis was standing over a dead body.
So you also remember 2 gunshots?
Indeed. The guards said that the first shot didn't hit anyone, while the second killed Jacques. Reason being, Mr. Callis had left his gun on the table. I even made sure to confirm that before running to the... But according to the guards, that doesn't mean he couldn't have had about the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned. Do you think there was a third person there who was turned into water?
É bem
At least from
provável.
our perspective, my father had no reason to kill. So he would also have no reason to bring the gun he was holding. Probably belonged to Jacques, or a third person on the scene.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But hold on. If that's what had happened, then why didn't he even want to face the Oratrice machine? And chose instead to prove his honor in a duel? Did he lose all faith in the courts after seeing someone dissolve right in...
About that, Malouse told me a thing or two. So, I think I can understand why he committed. I'll tell you everything, once the whole
I understand.
Don't worry. I will definitely find the truth. You and all our other comrades at the Spina deserve to know the truth as well.
Suspeito 1 investigado. Informação sobre Florent.
Hey, Thierry, it's me.
Oh, now, what brings you here, Miss Navia?
Oh, so you've got news of that already.
Callis did a fantastic job running the town. Building Spina di Rosula from the ground up and clearing many obstructions in my way. It would be next to impossible for me to find a similarly easy but high-paying job in the city. Anyway, enough chit-chat. Are these 2 friends of yours? You, here for some formal business?
Yes. These 2 are my partners. What happened at the Opera House made us realize that Linny's case and my father's may be related.
Ah, I get it. If you want to go through the original files from your father's case, I can help you look for them.
That'd be much appreciated. Thank you. Actually, I have another question. Do you have the authority to dispatch Gardamex?
Of course. Without them, I couldn't possibly handle Poisson on my own. Why do you ask? We definitely can't use them to forcefully get more evidence for your father.
Well, you see, just recently, we were attacked by a horde of unnumbered Gardamex in the city.
Isso foi bem estranho.
So,
Ainda tenho minhas suspeitas que a
if you
doutora.
hypothetically wanted to do something against me, all you would need to do is get rid of the mecha serial numbers and send them after me.
Then you think too highly of my abilities. Dispatching mecha is very different from controlling them. If I had to make an analogy, when you order a dish, the chef will make it for you. You can ask the chef to cook, but not to massage your shoulders or carry your baggage. If you try to make unreasonable demands, the chef would just think you're out of your mind and ignore you completely. Removing a serial number is also not as easy as you might think. There are a lot of complex steps to it, so I can promise you, those mecha were definitely private units. They're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be super rich, powerful, or both. Now that you mention it, though...
Oh, then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Chamando ele de
Thank
pobre.
you for the vote of confidence. Jokes aside, I'd like to wish you all the best with your...
É. Informações sobre Terry. Thierry. Não sei como é que fala seu nome, moço. Vamos pro próximo.
Hello. How may I help you? I'm here to see Marcel. Could you please let him know? Sure. I will let him know right away.
Após aguardar por um tempo, Marcel chega apressadamente.
Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as young as I used to be.
Oh, it's all right, Uncle Marcel. I just wanted to talk to you briefly about what happened in the opera house. I'm sure you saw everything too, right?
Yes, I've never seen anything so strange.
Oh, you were at the
That's right. I went there with Navia to see the magic show. Who knew it would turn into... I also witnessed your marvelous sleuthing work. Quite impressive.
Uncle Marcel, you've also noticed that other thing, right? The fact that he...
Yes, I was reminded of your father's case right away. Is that what you're in...
Exactly. I still don't have much solid proof, but I can sense that the other side has already...
Oh, and what makes you say that?
We were attacked on Arrhenius by some unnumbered Gardamex. And there was also an attempt to get me to drink water from the primordial sea. If not for the vigilance of my partner, I probably wouldn't even be here talking to you right now.
Oh, you're giving us too much credit. Wasn't it you who protected us?
Foi acidente que Paimon bebeu seu drink, tá?
The peace that Callus sought so dearly will soon become a thing of the past. But rest assured, Navia, Poisson will always remain a safe haven for you. If you're scared, you can always return there. If anyone dares to lay their hands on you there, the Confrérie of Cabrières will use its funds to the last Mora to bring them to justice.
Thank you, Uncle Marcel. But I don't intend to go into hiding. Do you have any new thoughts on my father's case?
About that. Sorry, my age is catching up with me. So the Confrérie was responsible for that banquet. So I was out and about the whole time, making sure things were running smoothly. I didn't even have the time to drink, then I heard the sound of a gunshot. And the rest was history.
Oh, it's okay. No need to push yourself. We'll ask around some more. See if there...
Sounds good. Just let me... All my wealth comes from Callus's patronage and support. I'll spend...
Informações de Marcel. Revise as pistas com Navia. Where is Navia? Você precisava subir essa parede toda, filha.
We've talked to all three suspects, purely based on their conversations with me.
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
Eu não senti que nenhum deles realmente se destacou.
I suppose that's to be expected, though. If a single conversation's all that's needed to find them out, then my father wouldn't have needed to invest anyway. Even though we didn't make a breakthrough, let's still compile what we were able to find.
But where should we start?
Motivo do Jacques.
Ah, you're right! Flora mentioned that Callus probably only ended up with the gun because of circumstance. That makes...
According to Jacques' family members, he already told them that he had been discovered, and that he had no choice before he left home that day. If I had to guess, he probably received an order from the synth boss to kill my father. Had he refused,
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Se eu fosse o Jacques, eu não teria nem atacado.
Oh? And why is that?
Depois disso, ele poderia garantir a segurança de sua família?
Oh, that's a good point. Jacques probably already knew that he was just being used as a tool for murder. And once he had completed his mission, he'd be of no more use to his boss.
So, what would make more sense from his perspective would be to turn his back on the order and seek protection from my father.
A terceira pessoa foi quem tirou tudo dos trilhos.
Makes sense. But without evidence, that's still... Besides Jacques, the attack from the Gardamex has been bothering me quite a bit as well. It's obvious that our enemy has become more antsy after the secret of the primordial sea...
Do you think he knew, even then, that we'd follow this lead to the end?
Given everything that's happened since... but who among the three suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex?
Dos três... Acho que o último, Marcel, porque ele é o que mais teria dinheiro até agora.
Uncle Marcel? My father did really trust him, and with funds from the Confrérie, he could also afford a large number of guards.
Eu realmente acho que é o Marcel, ele tem mais cara de malvadinho aqui na história.
Uncle Marcel is indeed the most suspicious of them all.
Could we be missing other suspects? Malus didn't know about the people turning into water thing when he narrowed it down to these.
Malus has always been very reliable, and his judgment of others' trustworthiness has been fair and well considered. When he laid out his case for the three, the rationale he gave me made a lot of... The suspect is knowledgeable about the Spina's internal affairs, has the means to dispatch Mecha to assassinate us, and possesses significant intellect and foresight. Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could all tie back to Uncle Marcel.
Afinal de contas, ele é alguém que é bem próximo de você.
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
A localização da base de produção de Cynthia.
Malus did say that charging straight in there would be extremely risky. But we need far more solid proof before we can hope to go charging in on our enemy.
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been looking for you.
Huh? Aren't you the guy from the guards? Did some...
Yeah. News came from Irenaeus just after you left.
Wasn't that place built specifically for holding trials? What's so newsworthy about this one?
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartaglia.
What? Is that someone you know?
Infelizmente.
Yeah, we know him. Maybe even...
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case.
Impossível.
It's absurd, don't you think?
Wait, how? None of our investigation...
That's what I thought was strange about it, so I came to tell you the news right away. If the charge against him stands, then it'll be next to impossible to get the guards to support any of our planned investigations.
Right, because they'll think they've already found the culprit.
Vamos nos dividir.
Huh? Split up? What do you mean?
Você pode ir para Henry's enquanto irei investigar aquele lugar. Estou confiante em minhas habilidades de combate.
Just as expected of my partner. Since this is a trial about the serial disappearances case, the culprit's attention will be focused on Irenaeus, leaving his home base wide open. You're right. This is our best opportunity. All right then, let's do this. I'll stall them at the Opera House and charge Marcel as the true culprit. I won't have any chance of making that charge stick, though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be up to you to make it back in time and hand the decisive evidence to me.
Não se preocupe.
We'll help you, just like you helped...
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany.
I'm ready.
Malus, Silver, when...
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson and figured that you might... It's our hope that your confidence will be bolstered.
Thank you so much. Then, let's make haste for Irenaeus.
See you then!
Combinado. Análise do suspeito. Hora de macetar inimigo. Enquanto isso, dentro da ópera P-Class. Nossa, vai ter dois lados assim?
It would appear that I must repeat my question again, Mr. Tartak. Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind the serial disappearance?
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system, or the reason why I'm being charged with something However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to participate in a duel to clear their name, in which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist Clorend, right? I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers I've ever... When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back. Real disappointing.
Hey! Don't you understand? You're currently the prime suspect for a major case.
Meu Deus.
This isn't the place for you to be looking for fights.
Tartaglia.
Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of the Opera House. Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the kind of student that learns best in the heat of battle.
No. That's not what I meant.
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is going poorly. In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again. The goal of this trial is to determine the...
That case had nothing to do with him. You've got the... Huh? What's going on?
Why is she interjecting again?
Porque ela pode.
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui harbingers.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. I only tolerated your behavior last time, but that was an exception rather than standard court protocol. I can very well charge you with contempt of court for your interjections.
Oh, please. Did you ever think I had any respect for this place's pointlessly... We can put that discussion aside for now. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to charge the true culprit behind the serial disappearance, and if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia here will be proven innocent by default.
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fascinating. So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to...
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted.
Vixe.
Now then, Miss Navia, who is the person...
That person is...
Marcel, então.
Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières.
Huh? What confrérie? Never heard of them in my life.
I've heard of them, but weren't they Spina di Ros...
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging someone is an incredibly serious matter. Committing to the charge also means taking on the legal, and if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you may also be charged with the crime of making a false accusation.
Yes, I do.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia and attorneys, please take your places on the court. Members of the guard, please contact Mr. Marcel right away so that he may stand...
Tudo dando errado, como planejado.
Mr. Marcel, you will not require...
Apologies, sir. It all just happened so quickly. I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is probably just a misunderstanding between...
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived, Miss Navia, please present your charge.
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago. To the case. Only through elucidating what really happened in that case can we connect all the dots for the serial disappearances case.
Navia, do you really think that I was the one who killed... Come on, why would I do that?
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now. The audience doesn't even have the big picture yet. Even I...
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about that case.
Ooh.
On the day of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the Confrérie of Cabrières. During the banquet, all attending guests heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the primary suspect, Callis, holding a gun, while his acquaintance, Jacques, lay dead from a gunshot wound. The guards' investigation did not recover any other firearms from the scene. As a result, they concluded that the suspect's first shot must have missed, while the second must have taken Jacques' life. The suspect did not dispute this conclusion, and also declined to defend himself in court. Instead, he chose to prove his innocence through it. Callis was defeated by champion duelist Clarand in the ensuing duel. These are the known facts about the case.
Ok.
Thank you for the summary, Your Honor. Of course, the guard's conclusion appeared quite sensible to us at the time. However, we should revisit the case now that we've gained new information about the abilities of water.
Hora do mestre mostrar. Ok, isso tá certo. Eles ouvem o disparo e vão pra cena do crime. Quando todos chegam, o suspeito, Callas, tinha uma pistola na mão e Jacques, que havia se encontrado com ele, estava morto por um tiro. Ok. A gente precisa... Ok. Refutá-lo.
Then turned to shoot Callas, only for Callas to wrestle the gun from him and kill him instead.
As roupas provam a existência de uma terceira pessoa que foi dissolvida pela água. Então, a gente usa a água para refutar este.
A pile of clothing was found at the scene. The guards once believed they were used by Jacques as a costume to disguise himself. But now, it is clear that the clothes were proof that there was a third person at the scene. And that they were turned into water after committing the
Nós
murder.
precisamos refutar. São de 2 armas. Callas não levou a arma com ele. Cadê? Não. A gente gente tem que refutar esse, talvez? Ok, a gente vai refutar esse com a da família do Jax. Não vamos refutar esse com a família do Jax. A gente tem que refutar qual agora? Ok, a gente refuta com ela.
Family confirms that Jacques had thoughts of assassinating Callus when he set out for the banquet. However, in the end, he reconsidered and instead shared everything with Callus. Unfortunately for Jacques, the true culprit had already considered this possibility and had sent out another assassin.
Fechamos o caso.
Realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading everyone to believe Callus was responsible for Jacques' murder. This is the true version of events.
Xablão. Mas estranhamente isso aí não acusa ele em específico. Não, ok, a gente vai acusar ele depois.
So that's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the primordial sea has been used for all these years?
What a great theory. It also explains Callus's and Jacques' respective motives. I guess they didn't shoot each other.
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should provide a rebuttal.
Ah, but I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was nothing in her speech that directly implicated me.
Then, may I ask some questions? In my opinion, we primarily need to determine two things.
Fala, Furina.
One, do you have the evidence to back up your claims?
I'm afraid not. At least not at this very moment.
Boo! If you don't have any evidence, you should just go home.
I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. If we look up the deserted clothes against a record of people who went missing around the same time, we should be able to find a match. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all missing persons from around that time.
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette, I would consider this to be a reasonable investigative direction.
Why do I feel like Farina's acting a little differently today?
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing herself again?
Alternatively, she's become more diligent after charging an innocent citizen in the last trial.
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. If the truth is indeed as you describe, then why didn't Mr. Callus explain himself in court? If he had testified that a person had been dissolved,
I've thought about this too. And the answer is actually pretty simple. He felt there were the dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important secret for the true culprit of the serial disappearances case. My father could have exposed it for all to see, but he chose to take it to... At that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been shattered. He had no guarantee that going forward with the truth would allow the culprit to be brought to What was certain, however, was that it would paint a gigantic...
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the next target of the serial disappearances case.
What?
If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with the Spina right there and then. I wouldn't have been the only one in danger. All of us would have stood to lose our lives. Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter and determine that we were in the right. But what good would that do? How can a hollow verdict protect anyone? Had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence in its brand of justice, Spina di Rosula would have had no reason to exist. But by staying silent, we retained the ability to deter our opponents and continue the stalemate. I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well as giving me more time to grow and learn. And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what this opera house cannot, and restore my father's truth.
So, you mean to say, your father intended to die in the duelist's ring?
That's right.
Do you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to ask his opponent, Clarand. I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the shadows. You don't have to do anything for my sake. But since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand, You should tell us the truth.
So, during the duel, did you believe that Callus was intending to die?
Yes, I did. As a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored lives. In my line of work, I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Some were determined, others passionate, and some even manic and twisted. Just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live or if they're looking to die. I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callus never intended to leave the ring alive.
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions. It appears there really are good grounds to reopen this case.
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between your father's case and the serial disappearance.
Right? What she said was fascinating, but kind of beside the point.
Wait, weren't they just talking about the serial disappearances case?
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected via a matter of timing. In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callus. As a result, they planned to act after hearing 2 gunshots. And, at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because they realized they were at risk of being identified. The culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they were already at the scene. Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the banquet and the trial.
So that's why you suspected me. Even after hearing your reasoning, I still can't help but find it a little preposterous. I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child, Navia. It's one of your
No need to appeal to pathos.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, can you prove that I was the only person present? On top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? Can't someone remotely monitor the place?
Know what you can say to that.
I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of suspects with some further investigations, until, alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation of murder from a girl you see as your own daughter? But if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not being considerate of your feelings. Ah well, let Uncle Marcel... Do you know what the biggest flaw in your reasoning is?
I suppose you're gonna tell me anyways.
It's timing again. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. It's a high-risk action with nothing to gain. In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade. My business only thrived when I received Callus's patronage. But the disappearances began before I ever stepped foot in Fontaine.
I do apologize, demoiselle. This was my mistake.
No, it's not your fault. I'm sure he had come prepared.
Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to check the date of my first business license against the first known case of this? You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family when I left Snezhnaya for the first time. Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the unspeakable anguish in your heart?
Seems like she got the wrong guy. At this rate, Navia will be convicted for falsely accusing him.
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father's feelings as he neared the end of his life. But aren't you going against all of his wishes and expectations right now? He wished for you to become more rational, collected, and conscientious, instead of dwelling only on your own feelings. Once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings, and to stop rushing headlong into things, you'd have met most of his expectations.
This isn't just about me, and it never has been. The biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that I still have the ability to search for the truth. While that same agency, the people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who lost their loved ones to the serial disappearances, and the people who suffered tragic ends due to their sense of many people's images are flashing before my eyes. I'm sure some are coming to those of you in the audience as well. And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vacher? Oh, so you do know that name.
Merely surprised.
Deixe.
Let me say the name of someone.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Um pouco antes da entrada da base da produção de Rossi,
After all that, we finally made it to the innermost sanctum. Though, as expected, the mastermind isn't here.
se não me engano, ele está sendo acusado por nave enquanto conversamos.
That's right. Then let's hurry up and find some evidence so we can get back to the opera house and help them.
É. Ok. Procure por pistas nas profundezas.
What's this over here?
É um lugar de pesquisa.
Experiment number 16 aims to verify Jacob Ingold's research conclusions on the The experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea. Female specimens.
Calma, Paimon.
Sorry, traveler. Paimon will try her best. It's just that. How could someone write something that terrible in such a You read the rest. Paimon's too scared to keep going.
É realmente horrível. O objetivo do pesquisador era de salvar a sua amada, uma mulher chamada Vigneire. Que porcaria de nome é esse? Que foi dissolvida.
So that's why he did all of these Wait, did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over? That's just insane!
Tem um outro nome aqui. Deixe.
Huh? Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case.
Não, ele é o pesquisador.
You mean Vache is the one who did all of these...
Sim, ele assinou vários relatórios de experimento. Provavelmente a voz que eu ouvi da fonte foi a de Vigneire.
So that's it! Vache was no victim, but personally took his love... No, that's not it either! If that's the case, why would he want people to resurface from the water?
Deve haver algo mais nisso.
In any case, Paimon will write it...
Por que a gente não bota todos esses documentos assim na nossa mochila infinita, hein? É mais inteligente. Tá. Observar a garrafa.
Whoa! There's so much synth here! And so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain the
Tem
letters...
tantas.
Mixing in progress. Ready to drink? Stock sample? Huh. They've also got... Whoa! There's even fruit-flavored synth?
Bem, isso definitivamente prova que aqui é onde produzem os synth. Ah tá, os synth são um negócio, agora que eu me toquei. Então eles preparam até mesmo para você poder misturar as comidas. É por isso que eles botaram na comida da nave. Ok, aqui tem garrafa, mesa... O que era pra ser isso? Será que é daqui que eles tiram o synth? Observar a piscina.
Oh, look! There's an important looking basin over here. And it's full of water.
Deve ser a água do mar primordial.
That means this is where they make all the synth. And that special water is the main... If you dilute it with normal water, you'll get synth. But the pure stuff can dissolve. Paimon will take notes on this
Pronto para mais um caso. Observe a estante.
Let's see what's written here. Nothing escapes Detective Paimon. Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this seems to be an
Está provavelmente relacionado ao caso dele e do Jax.
Yep, it's about finding someone to assassinate Jacques and... This should prove the existence of the third person, right?
Sim. Tem mais alguma coisa?
We still have not... The old dog's a real menace to deal with. Even if he abides by the promise he's made to us, he will still have the upper... He can act whenever he wants to make our lives miserable. The only option left is to... I concur. Let's send someone to kill him. He won't declare wars. Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups.
Eles planejaram isso com bastante antecedência. Tem mais algo? Tem esse baú aqui. Observar lixo.
What's all this? Pink accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a makeup box.
E tem até um nome.
Paimon sees it too, but...
Eles provavelmente pertenciam às vítimas.
You mean the girls from the cereal? And then they were turned in, and all the boxes of things. These names.
Pertencentes às pessoas desaparecidas.
We've looked at almost everything here, and it seems like our theories were spot on.
Quem é esse Vacher, né? Cadê ele?
We haven't found anything that reveals his true identity. No wonder even Neuvillette wasn't able to find anything. Whoever it is probably destroyed everything to do with that. That way, even if we bring all this back to the opera, we won't be able to identify the true culprit.
Inteligente, mas talvez não seja inteligente o suficiente. Vamos olhar de novo. Depois de um tempo... Tem aquela aguinha do lago primordial, quer beber? Paimon, eu encontrei.
Isn't it Vacher's lovers? Then you found her diary. Aww. It's just a normal diary chronicling their love story.
Ela fez uma lista de nomes de bebês. Aham, mas sim. Que bom que eu sei ler hieróglifos.
So many. A whole page's worth. But the final name she did, Marcel. Wait, but Marcel's pretty old. Has this case been going on for so long that he's Vacher?
Já entendi. Vamos lá, Paimon. Não era você que estava notando tudo? Ou será que foi uma pesquisa? Os dois encontraram juntos o lago. Ela acidentalmente tomou a água para experimentar algo do tipo e foi transformada. E assim, muito provavelmente, começou todo esse processo de transformar as pessoas em água e encontrar uma forma de recuperar ela.
As expected of my partner. I just knew.
Just how often do you intend to flout the rules of this court?
All right, Monsieur Neuvillette. Given their confidence, I expect they've found the crucial evidence.
Indeed we found. Você diz que nunca ouviu falar de Vacher.
But the truth of it, Marcel, is that you've always been Vacher.
Huh?
We've investigated your lair and we already know everything.
Pera, ele não é filho dele, não?
After your lover, Vignier, was dissolved, you kept abducting young women to experiment on the hopes of bringing her back to you. You even created Marcel as a new identity and destroyed all records of your past as Vacher.
So that's it. Even the villains in opera performances rarely go that far. And with that, Marcel's motive has now...
This information regarding your past also dismantles your prior timing defense.
Ele sempre esteve aqui.
Marcel, do you know where you went wrong? You fixated your gaze on the lover that passed away, instead of paying attention to the living people around you. So, you never noticed how we changed, or how we grew as individuals.
You also never understood Boss's real expectations.
Or our determination to see things through.
Your determination.
Mr. Marcel, please speak up now if you would like to defend yourself. Otherwise, the
Do you really think I wanted to do any of this?
É, meu filho, parece que...
Pay attention to you? What for? Have you ever paid attention to me? Ever empathized with my pain? Ever known how it feels to watch the love of your life dissolve right in front of your eyes? No one helped me. No one even believed me. All those decades ago, even the officers from the Maison Gardiennage were laughing at me. They said there's no way a human being can turn into water. So I must have gone mad from grief. Vignier's death was brushed away by all of you as if it didn't matter at all. Well, now you know, don't you? Ha! Well, it's too late now. All those who were dissolved are gone forever. You only have yourselves to blame. You set up this ornate opera house in pursuit of your so-called justice, your beloved drama, while turning a blind eye to the suffering of the people. Vignier is dead. We promised each other that we would always be together. Wherever she goes,
Ele vai beber
I
água.
will follow. But I'm not from this blasted place, so I can't be dissolved. No matter what I do.
Ele não vai.
Hey, is that water from the primordial sea that he's drinking?
I can't dissolve. Can't dissolve. Can't dissolve. Do you all see? I can't go. I can't follow. So if I can't go where she is, what choice do I have but to try to bring her back? I did all of that, and in the end, that accursed Callus still got the better of me. I spent my entire life living on pins and needles, only to get stabbed by his idiot daughter at the very end.
The suspect is exhibiting signs of mental distress. Guards, please restrain him.
Don't touch me! Don't anybody come near me!
At this point, the verdict of this trial is clear. With Mr. Marcel's conviction, the charges against Mr. Tartaglia no longer have any basis.
Fine by me. I was in a bad mood, but after a show like that, I'm actually feeling pretty good.
Traveler, please submit all the evidence you have collected to the guards, so that I might review and summarize the truth behind the serial disappearances case.
Nivelete prossegue em
The man
revisar
now
todas as
known as
provas.
Marcel was originally named Vache and worked as an adventurer with his partner and lover Vignier. During an underwater expedition, Vignier accidentally came into contact with water from the primordial sea and was dissolved in front of Vache as a result. Vache learned of the primordial water's existence through the work of others and began to kidnap young women for research, with the goal of discovering a method to restore Vignier back to life. To cover his tracks, he invented the new alias of Marcel and began to operate a business in Poisson. During the course of his research, Vache discovered that a diluted concoction of water from the primordial sea can induce feelings of euphoria, and began to manufacture and market synth. However, as he accumulated wealth to fund his continued research and expanded the scope, he came into conflict with Spina di Rosula. After exchanging blows with Spina di Rosula for many years, Vache decided to assassinate their president Callus at a banquet. Although the assassination did not go as Vache expected, he was able to turn Callus into the murder suspect by dissolving the assassin he sent to the scene. And just recently, Vache attempted to frame Linny as the culprit of the serial disappearances case, using a similar method. However, his attempt to frame Linny failed, and the power of water from the primordial sea became public knowledge. This case also exposed enough of Vache's machinations that he was eventually successfully charged in court. Thus concludes the enigmatic history of the serial disappearances case, with the truth revealed to all.
Aplausos. E todo mundo morreu.
The oratrice will now deliver the final verdict regarding the... According to the judgment of the oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale, Mr. Vache is guilty.
Guards! Take the...
Good. It's what he deserved.
With that, the serial disappearances case...
We really just witnessed history. Who would have thought the true culprit would be such a polite and well...
Yippee! He's hurt so many innocent people and now he's finally getting what he... Huh? Are you okay?
Navia.
Demoiselle, you were absolutely brilliant.
The day our late boss had always hoped for has finally come.
Yeah. It's finally over. It's all thanks to you guys. And my partner. See, Papa? Spina di Rosula's still doing well with me at the helm.
Well now, hasn't this been a most delicious piece of drama? The villain has been caught, justice has been served, past wrongs have... Since it's been such a great show, I'll just let the false accusations against me slide. Either way, I've still got...
Please wait just one moment, Mr. Tartaglia.
What now? None of this has...
According to court protocol, since this trial was initiated due to a charge against you, a verdict must also be made regarding the initial charge before the trial can conclude.
Oh, come on. Is this really necessary? Haven't you already caught the real criminal? Isn't it time for side characters like me to exit stage left?
Please respect the laws of Fontaine. This has always been the rule.
All right, but this sure is a lot of hassle.
Through evidence presented in the public trial that was just held, it has been established that Mr. Tartaglia has no direct... The guilty party has been identified, and thus it is logical to suppose Mr. Tartaglia. We now turn to the oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale. According to the judgment of the oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale, Mr. Tartaglia is guilty.
Okay?
What?
Hey! That's not funny! Didn't you just say I'm supposed to be innocent? What's with this verdict? Is your justice machine malfunctioning?
Huh? This has never happened before. The oratrice actually returned a different verdict from the Chief Justice.
I mean, have you ever heard of an innocent Fatui Harbinger? Do you think the
But weren't the charges about the serial disappearances case? No matter what else he's guilty of, it shouldn't affect the verdict in this case, right?
O que está acontecendo aqui?
The
Ele não era...
judgment of the oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale is, by law, the final verdict of the court. Guards, please take the suspect into custody per court.
Meu... Child,
So this is how justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke. You've got your rules. Well, I've got mine too!
Oh!
He's activating his spell legacy!
Meu Deus!
I am sorry. If you have been wronged, we will find the truth. But the rules of the court must be upheld.
Oh.
Monsieur Neuvillette? What's going on? Shouldn't they have been cleared?
É.
Apologies. This is also the first time I've encountered such a situation. However, according to the rules established at the all I do is follow court procedure. As for why the oratrice arrived at the conclusion it did, you should probably ask someone more knowledgeable than me.
Se nem mesmo o juiz supremo sabe, então não temos escolha se não perguntar à própria Arconte.
Why are you looking at me? I had nothing to do with it! I don't know what happened there either!
What does Lady Farina mean by that?
She says she has no idea either? But that's impossible.
Yeah, so are the verdicts reliable or not? Can results like this really be called justice?
My dearest citizens, did you really think we'd allow an incorrect verdict to be handed out in this court? Don't tell me. You thought even I had been blindsided by the oratrice's result.
But the way she looked just now, it was pretty obvious she had no idea what...
However, given the state of things, I shall give you an explanation. Everything that just took place, including my supposed shock and of course, for every performance there is a script. Everything has unfolded. If you thought Childe had nothing to do with the serial disappearances case, it is only because you've been everything he's done, not to mention the danger he poses, are beyond ordinary all shall be revealed in time. You will come to understand my noble intentions. And now, having said that, although I hate to leave things hanging in suspense, it is now time for this performance to end. As the lead actress, I shall be the first to take my leave. Toodaloo!
Toodaloo!
So she chose to make her escape after all, did she?
So you're saying we shouldn't put much stock into what she just said?
She probably just put on that performance to save face. As for the truth, it's unlikely that she actually has any idea.
Belo jeito de puxar os tapetes debaixo dos pés dela, hein?
However, please be assured that I will continue to investigate this case in a personal capacity. Just as I promised, if the judgment has been incorrect, we will do our utmost to clear his name.
Alright. Even though we feel pretty badly for him, well, after all, he's done plenty of bad stuff. So he should have known he'd go to prison someday.
Será que a Arachna tá jogando o histórico inteiro dele? Tá bom, vamos sair da ópera. A gente vai falar com a... Oh, é você.
Hey, what are you doing? Quick, stop him! Traveler! Hey! Traveler!
Marcel! What are you doing?
Stop resisting arrest! Cease, or we'll add...
No, wait! I just want to ask the Traveler something. I'm not looking to run away. Please, just let me ask this one small thing.
Go on.
I was being led away when I finally realized something. Where did you first hear the name Vache? I erased all records of that name. So...
Are you still trying to prove your innocence? Give it up. You've already been convicted.
Eu me encontrei com ela.
Really? You did? You're sure? You met her? But how could that be?
Algo a ver com minha sensibilidade ao alimento hydro.
Fountain of Lucine? Then she... Please give me a chance to talk to her again. Just let the Traveler take me to the fountain to see her one last time. This is the last request I'll ever make.
What? Give an inch and you want to take a mile? Do you think serial killers get to make...
Paimon agrees. Why should we give him what he wants when he's only...
This request, is it worth as much to you as your life?
Of course! Wait, no. It's worth even more than my life.
Humans. Will they betray the instinct to live just to satisfy... Very well. I will grant your...
Your Honor, I fear that...
I will go with him. You do not need to worry about any escape.
In that case, I shall leave him in your most capable...
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh.
Is this the place? You said she's here, but what do I need to do to see her?
Naquela hora eu bebi água do mar primordial. Isso aumentou minha sensibilidade ao alimento hydro.
Yeah, and even Paimon could hear her after drinking that thing. Didn't you just drink a lot?
Vache.
Ah!
Yes, that's it. So you...
Vinier, it's me! It's me!
Vache?
I'm here! I'm here! Where are you, Vinier?
Hey, wait! Be careful!
Vinier, is that you? It's me, Vache!
Vache? Why did you come? Didn't I say? You look a lot...
It's been more than 20 years. All this time. Only the thought of bringing you back has kept me alive. I must be dreaming. Who would have thought I'd get the chance to tell you all? Vinier, you are my everything. I really don't know how I...
But Vache, if you ask me, this world would be better off without you.
What are you saying?
If not for you, I would have finished my law degree and probably become a top-tier attorney one day. If not for you, I would have continued to pursue my love of the arts. If not for you, I would at least have been able to take care of my mother. And she would not have... It's all because of your selfishness, Vache. It's all because of you.
You... Wait, you are not Vinier.
You're right. I am not Vinier. Every woman who died by your hand, as our bodies dissolved, our consciousnesses flowed back to the... Our thoughts circulated endlessly within the primordial sea, and we were no longer individuals.
But we became one.
Oh.
Just as streams of... I'm Cressy. I'm Lemony. The only one I am not.
Why? But then...
She doesn't want to see you anymore. This is what you get for your selfishness. Your selfishness robbed us of our lives and our... But did you ever consider whether she'd want to see you do the things that you did? If she would... You are a liar. A heartless murderer. The only thing you are not is Vignere's beloved. From the moment your first victim died and her consciousness merged with Vignere's, she has had nothing but...
Parece que eu também não encontrei Vinari naquele momento. Talvez elas queriam que eu atraísse Marcel aqui desde o início.
No! Yeah! She can't hate me. Let me see her, please.
You still don't understand. When I said don't look for me, that came from the real, but on top of that, she also said that because it's her final drop of pity for you. She said that because she knew that if you did come here, we will show no mercy to you. Vache. Vache? Vache. 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 Drown.
Mais tarde, os guardas descobriram que o culpado dos desaparecimentos em série de jovens mulheres, Marcel, parecia ter perdido a própria alma. Entretanto, o relatório final dos médicos afirma que ele morreu de um susto gigante. Elas fizeram um serviço que a justiça não fez. Vários dias depois...
Finally, we have some time to do shopping. Gosh, it's really been a long time since we've been able to
Fazer compras já é estressante do meu próprio jeito. Minhas pernas estão me matando.
Well met, partner. I knew something great was going to happen when I woke up in such a good mood today.
Navia, eu te
Even this
amo.
weather can't put a damper on the demoiselle.
It's a pleasure to see you both again.
Oh, hey, Navia! It's been a few days.
Oh, now that I believe. I'm easy to work with and always bring home the bacon.
Sounds like you're really enjoying life these days, Navia.
It's just been one thing after the other. I've been making non-stop trips between Poisson and the courts, and everyone from Spina di Rosula organized a memorial. This time, though, everyone in Poisson, and even many people from the court, all attended.
Ah, que bonito!
So his name's definitely been cleared now.
It's been the dearest wish of Demoiselle all along.
That blasted stubborn fool. I was right to put my faith in him. I'm so glad I didn't give up on the case all those years ago.
As coisas acabaram tão bem quanto podiam.
Oh, by the way, I ran into Charlotte just after... well, maybe it'd be more accurate to say I knew she would be there. And there was no...
Huh?
Charlotte too? Yeah, way back when I first became the president of the Spina di Rosula, she was all over me. Wouldn't take no for an... I believe the story was called The True Heart of Darkness. Secret Tales of the Yellow Rose. To be fair, though, it was a really flattering feature. So, we've been on pretty good terms ever since. She was trying to lean on our friendship to get me to do an exclusive piece on the serial disappearances case.
Oh yeah, she told us about that. She's always been super interested in that case, so now her wish has finally come true too.
Anyway, I told her to make sure that when she writes about you guys entering the opera house with the critical evidence, that you both sound really cool.
Now that's another thing to look forward to. We trust Charlotte's skills with the...
Oh, and in other news, I also took...
Are you two on better terms now?
While you were investigating Vache's headquarters, Clorinde gave... It was thanks to her that we were able to turn the tide. I wanted to thank her. I mean, there's also no point in being awkward all the time. So we took the chance to reconcile.
Oh, that's great. Paimon also thought Clorinde wasn't actually a bad person. It's always good.
Anyway, now that the case has finally been solved, perhaps... actually, There's still what
is it?
I should pay a visit to my father's grave and tell him the truth of what happened. And on top of that, just how much people...
Miss Navia.
Indeed.
Posso ir também?
We want to go too. We also think Callus is a real...
Sure thing. I'd like you two to share the moment with me. After all, without you, there might not have been such a positive end.
And in that case, everyone, let's be off. Considering the recent weather, we'll be lucky if we can...
Yeah, you're right. It's been raining non-stop.
Novelete, tá tudo bem? Que é o lencinho. Novelete tá em crise lá no escritório dele.
This is where my father's grave is.
Huh? There's someone there already.
Novelete.
Isn't that Novelete? Why would the Chief Justice be here? Huh? Navia?
Oh, que é um lencinho, Novelete. Toma um lencinho.
My apologies. I should have asked before coming to pay my...
Don't say that.
Sorry about that.
Oh, I was trying to say there's no need for you to apologize. I wanted to show my father how much I've grown. But still, I doubt I've grown to the point that even the Chief Justice would feel compelled to apologize to me.
In that case, I will stop apologizing for...
You really could use some pointers on understanding human emotion. In any case, why did you...
Well, ever since that day, I've been turning a question over and over in my head. Just what is justice anyway? There was once a time when I didn't want to believe that there could be anything more important to humans than life. Oh, rather than that, it's probably more truthful to say I didn't believe humans were capable of resisting the most basic instinct of living things. That they could rebel against their own nature, or consider certain things to be more important than their own lives. Which is also why I didn't stop your father from beginning that fateful duel. I believed that a truly innocent man would never throw away his life like that. That there was nothing, should have been nothing more important. But Mr. Callus proved me utterly and decisively wrong. If not for his sacrifice, the serial disappearances, Mr. Callus made the choice he did for his daughter, for his associates. And in the end, from a certain perspective, one could say that he did it a justice that's higher than... So, you asked me why I came here. I just wanted to say my apologies to Mr. Callus in person. This regret has filled me with a sadness that has haunted me for days. That high and mighty chair in the opera Epicles indeed insulates one from many important things. Spina di Rosula, thank you so much for your hard work.
I'm sorry. So, you're actually one of those types that's cold on the outside, but pretty thoughtful on the inside.
Sorry about that. Self-expression is not one of my...
Didn't I just say you don't need to...
So Navia and Novelete seem to have made... Let's not disturb them for now. We can wait till after they're...
Seguindo Navia e Novelete, a chuva parou.
Paimon's never paid respects at someone's grave before. Did Paimon do anything rude there?
Bem, normalmente você não deveria ficar voando pelo túmulo de alguém, né? Caraca, Paimon, que desrespeito com o defunto.
Paimon didn't know that was a thing. Oh no.
Uau, ela levou isso a sério.
Anyway, Novelete is still standing around there. It's not often that we can catch him alone like this, so why don't we go talk to him for a bit? If we can't talk to Lady...
Conversinha antes do fim do arco. Que bela vista, hein, Novelete?
Oh, it's you two. Did Miss Navia invite you to come pay your...
We ran into Navia on the streets today, so we...
I see. Then is there...
Well, it's pretty hard to run into you like this, since you're usually super busy. So we figured we...
Please feel free. Though outsiders, you helped
que lindo
us
esse
solve one of the
shot.
greatest mysteries in Fontaine. And it would be my pleasure to return the favor.
Ok, sobre a água do mar primordial.
So, at court, the bad guys refer referred to that special water as water from the...
Truthfully, that name is already quite accurate. I can only surmise that Vache and his ilk only learned of its nature and existence after extensive... There used to be a special sea on the surface of this planet. The nature of its seawater was rather different from that of the sea we know today. Most of Tevat's life forms were first born in that special sea. You could say it nurtured...
Huh. So it really was where everything began.
But today, the primordial sea no longer exists on the... What Vache discovered must have been some kind of special case, or a remnant from a truly ancient age.
Huh. So that's how it is. Oh, you really know everything, Monsieur Neuvillette. But if that's the case, then why would people, at least people from Fontaine...
Indeed. Why would the primordial sea, which was known to engender and nurture life, suddenly reverse itself and devour life instead? To be frank, that also doesn't match my understanding of this world and its laws. There must still be some unknown sea. Is there anything else you...
Com certeza. Sobre a profecia que tem circulado por
That the sea levels
Fontaine.
will rise and everyone will be dissolved in water, leaving Farina crying alone on her throne, but the sins of the people will be finally Does that appropriately summarize the version you've heard?
That's right! It was Lenny that told us...
Yes, up to the present, I think we reached a point where we have no choice but to confront this prophecy directly. Rumors have it that this prophecy is rooted in the last words the former Hydro Archon left to the world.
A prophecy? Of the former Hydro Archon? What?
Two parts of the prophecy have already proven correct. The rising sea levels and the ability of the people of Fontaine to be dissolved. We should be more vigilant and stay on the
Nossa, a
watch
água do
for
mar
further
primordial
signs.
pode ser dissolvida em água, então... Oh... Então talvez se o mar nosso entrar em contato com o mar primordial, talvez eles se fundam e aí sim todo mundo vai de base?
Speaking of the prophecy, Farina has also always taken it quite seriously. Indeed, she has been If the rumors were true, then perhaps this prophecy is the conundrum left to Farina by her predecessor.
Sobre Childe.
My apologies. My investigation has... However, I still believe the judgment of the Oratrice.
But you also said you...
For many years, I have been quite aware that the Oratrice does not simply mechanically repeat the verdict that I give on. As a divinely created mechanism, the people's unified faith in the concept of justice is integrated. Not only can it produce the incredible power of indemnitium, but it likely also possesses other traits, such as self-awareness. Which is all to say, I have been prepared for a situation like this.
So when Lenny told us that he heard a human voice from the room...
I was not aware such a thing had occurred. Perhaps that could serve to prove my conjecture. I will add that to the list of items to invest. In any case, I am inclined to believe that the Oratrice does have a methodology all its own. Based on Farina's reaction, I doubt even she had any idea what was going on. She managed to bluff her way through it, though. While we do intend to get to the bottom of this, for now, we regret to say that the Fatui Harbinger will just have to bide his time in the fortress of Meribid.
Yeah.
If we did incorrectly convict him of crimes he did not commit, we will most certainly compensate him to the fullest extent allowed by the law.
Ele já recebe bastante, então...
You ask Paimon, the only compensation he'll want is a no-holds-barred fight with you.
Is there anything else you'd...
Sobre meu irmão.
Your sibling. Another blonde-haired traveler. If he ever stepped foot in Fontaine, I'm sure he followed our laws to the letter, and had no reason to appear on the stage of the Is there anything else you'd like to ask?
Isso é tudo. Não tem mais perguntas.
Very well. It was my honor to provide you with what answers I could. It will soon be time for me to leave this blissful tranquility behind.
Cara, que homem
return to Palais Memonia.
You really are super busy, Monsieur Neuvillette. Paimon thought you only came here...
Crime and villainy do not have the day off, and so justice must work around the clock as well. This...
All right, you've got a point, huh? Paimon just noticed that the rain has stopped.
É, realmente parou. Uma chuva inesperada. Bem, parece que esse vídeo vai ficando por aqui. Ele foi bem longuinho, então eu vou ser um pouquinho rápido. Se você não assistiu nenhum dos outros episódios anteriores e está perdido nessa saga, pode acessar a playlist que tem lá no canal, é uma playlist completa com todos os episódios. Nós também temos playlist de todas as séries que nós já fizemos no canal também, então pode ir lá ver se você quiser. Bem, se você não é inscrito aqui no canal, já aproveita e se inscreve e ativa o sininho para não perder nenhuma notificação dos próximos vídeos que estão por vir. Aproveita também, já deixa um like e um comentário porque isso ajuda muito, e compartilha com um amigo que você tem certeza que vai adorar esse tipo de vídeo. Bem, já aproveita e clique em um dos 2 cardzinhos que estão aparecendo na tela agora mesmo e vai lá assistir um outro vídeo. E bem, eu sou a Pumpkin e até o próximo ato de Fontaine.